Today, we're going to dive into a beautiful, centuries-old fable from the poet Rumi. Now, on the surface, it just seems like a simple story about a merchant and his pet parrot. But trust me, hidden inside is this incredible secret about what freedom really means. Let's get into it.
So our story kicks off with a wealthy merchant. This guy has it all. But his most prized possession? It's this gorgeous, sweet-talking parrot living its life inside a fancy golden cage.
I mean, the merchant just adored this parrot. So, when he's getting ready for a long business trip to India, which, by the way, is the parrot's homeland, he offers to bring back gifts for everyone in his house, and that includes the bird. Now, as you'd expect, his servants and staff all asked for the usual stuff: trinkets, silks, treasures. But the parrot, well, the parrot had something completely different in mind. It didn't want a souvenir, it wanted the merchant to deliver a message for it. And this parrot just pours its heart out. It asks the merchant to go find a flock of wild parrots back in India and to tell them about its sadness, about being trapped, and just how badly it wants to be free. It was basically a cry for help, a desperate plea for advice sent across the world. The merchant was really moved by this, so he promises he'll deliver the message. He sets off, takes care of all his business, and then, right before heading home, he remembers his promise to his beloved parrot. And sure enough, deep in the jungle, he sees them, a whole flock of parrots, just flying free in the trees. So he stops his horse, calls out to them, and starts to repeat the sad message from his pet back home. He tells them the whole story, about the cage, the sorrow, the deep longing for freedom. He talks about the pain of being separated from your own kind, and how his parrot is desperately looking for a way out. And then, something totally bizarre happens. The second the merchant finishes speaking, one of the wild parrots starts to tremble, and then it just falls from its branch. Dead. Right there on the jungle floor. Oh, the merchant was horrified. He's instantly filled with this crushing regret, thinking, my words did this. I killed this poor creature. He figures it must have been a relative of his parrot, and the sad news was just too much for it to handle.
So, with a super heavy heart, the merchant finally makes it back home. His parrot, of course, is eager to hear what happened, what message its relatives sent back. And the merchant, reluctantly, tells him the tragic story of the parrot that dropped dead.
And in this shocking, unbelievable echo of what happened in India, as soon as the caged parrot hears the story, it does the exact same thing. It trembles, collapses to the floor of its cage, and dies. The merchant is just doubly devastated.
The poor merchant is just beside himself, right? He's mourning the loss of his beautiful, clever friend. But this story isn't actually about tragedy. It's about a hidden message. See, this death, it wasn't an end. It was the beginning of an answer.
So grieving, the merchant opens the cage, takes out the little bird, and tosses its lifeless body outside. And in that split second, poof, the parrot springs back to life, spreads its wings, and flies up to the branch of a nearby tree, totally and completely free. The merchant's mind is just blown. He's standing there, completely bewildered, and he calls out to the bird, begging it to explain. What in the world just happened? What was the secret? What did that parrot in India teach you? The parrot, now sitting freely in the tree, looks down and finally spills the beans. That wild parrot's death? It wasn't a tragedy. Not at all. It was a message, delivered in code. And here's how the code worked. The parrot explained, "My cousin in India taught me a lesson without saying a single word. It showed me that the very thing that made me so valuable to you, my beautiful voice, my cleverness, that was the reason I was in a cage. So the key to freedom was to die, to pretend to be worthless, to let go of the identity that kept it imprisoned." And this really gets to the core of it, doesn't it? The parrot's final piece of wisdom is basically a warning. When you show off your gifts too much, you invite trouble. You risk becoming a possession, trapped by the very thing that makes you special. So you see, this ancient fable isn't really just about a bird. It's a mirror. It's asking all of us to take a hard look at our own lives and figure out what beautiful golden cages we might be living in without even realizing it. Because captivity in this story isn't just about iron bars. It can be a job that defines you, a reputation you're afraid to lose, or that constant need for likes and validation from other people. It's the great paradox of talent, right? The very gift that gets you noticed can become the thing that traps you. It's anything we cling to that keeps us from being our true, uncaged selves.
And right there, in that moment, the merchant has his own aha moment. Watching that parrot fly away, he finally gets it. He realizes that real freedom requires a kind of ego death. You have to let go of the attachments, the possessions, and the identity that you thought made you who you were.
This idea is really the heart and soul of the story. What looks like destruction or loss on the outside, like faking your own death or silencing your gift, is actually the only way to find a much deeper treasure. It's only by letting go that we can find who we really are.
And so that leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. The parrot had to silence its voice, the very gift that defined it, to escape its cage. So what's the sweet voice in your life that you might be clinging to a little too tightly? What's the golden cage, built from praise and expectations, that you might need to let go of in order to truly fly free?